Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lethal Sales. We're so happy you're here, Peter and I, and Larry and I, and all of us and I. Tonight's topic is reputation management. What is it? Why is it important? And how do we do it the right way? And I'd say
Why
Peter.
don't you go with Peter,
Yeah.
the road
Sure.
warrior?
Well, it's always been said that without reputation, you have nothing. Basically, it's how people think of you that really makes the difference. And the problem with the car business is that we can manipulate this reputation at a whim if we really want to, and we see it by people offering up benefits for a higher CSI score or a Google review. Here, please scan this code and give me a great Google review. It really would help me out personally at the dealership when it actually helps the dealership, this, that, whatever. It's all there. One of the things that I like to look at, if I'm looking at a dealership and seeing how good their reputation is, and I'm sure Doug will concur with this one, is I go to Indeed. And then when you go to Indeed, you see how people actually think about the dealership, the employees, the DX, not the CX. And that reputation truly shows you what it's like. Now, if I go to the dealerships in my area, and there's lots of them, and the average, I would say the average Indeed rating is about 2.2 to 2.6 stars. That means they're getting 44 to 52% ratings. And I like to say to dealers, would you eat in a restaurant that had a 44% rating of satisfaction? Would you fly on an airline that was 2.2 stars? Would you stay at a hotel overnight if it was running at a sub 50% rating? No. But as dealers, and there's great dealers out there that are really concerned about it, and then there's other ones that just slough it off, and we see it. And one of the ways we see it, and I can guarantee Michael will talk about it, there's a wide whale study that did 17,088 franchise dealers, and he knows the stats because I showed him how to filter them. And it was incredible on how many dealers were actually 1-star rated Googles. There was, in the United States, there was almost 4,000 dealerships were 1-star dealerships. Would you shop there? So reputation management is absolutely imperative if you really want to move the needle. With that, I will relinquish my soapbox to my good friend Larry Feldman.
Wonderful. I I think I think this is going to sound a little cliched, but it's true. In order to make this work, the reputation has to start from the top down, the buy-in has to be complete. Because I think we'll all agree that in all businesses, not just the one, our chosen profession, a lot of people talk one way and do the exact opposite. Um, there's got to be a certain innate sense of pride, not just to get a CSI score, but to really feel a sense of achievement in being excellent. Peter, it was really good to see you today. You left a little earlier for me to get into my Joe DiMaggio analogy. DiMaggio played baseball. Now, I don't consider baseball as strenuous as football or basketball. I've played all three sports, but the guy played half his career in constant pain. He had bad feet. I mean, really bad feet. Any other athlete would have probably sat out. And he never hit the ball and watched it. He always ran. He hustled all the time. Now, while the sport may not be as strenuous as football or basketball, they played all day games and they didn't have polyester. So he was standing out in the sun in Yankee Stadium in Boston and Philly. The Athletics were in Philly back then. In the summer, wearing a wool uniform. And somebody asked him once, Joe, why do you play so hard? Because nobody ever would have criticized him. He was probably the most popular figure in New York. And he said, because the little boy in the stands may only see me play one game. And if this is the game, I want him to see me play it best. That's the exact opposite of all the nonsense we hear today. It is what it is, whatever. If we fill everything up with a sense of I want to do the best I can possibly do. If you're proud of the fact that, look what I did, and I'm proud of the fact that I did it right. Most of you guys haven't seen me in action. And I told Peter that as crazy as it sounds, I keep people's attention for 3 hours. They don't look at their iPhone, that they're not bored. I'm not bragging about it. I think it comes about because I'm really excited to do my best every day. And when dealers feel that way, and they make sure their GMs and their GSMs and their service managers and everybody feels that way, that flows down. But I think there's a lot of cynicism throughout the ranks. And like I said, not just in the car business, where somebody says something and it becomes a cliche, an aphorism, and nobody really follows through. But I think once you have buy-in, once you're excited, once you're committed, guys, ladies, you're looking at a guy. What'd you drive? 4 hours today, Peter?
7.
Okay. This guy sat with me to the bitter end to before because he didn't want to miss the show, had already attended a conference, met with the dealer. I'll tell you what, he'd rather eat glass than miss the show. He don't get paid to do the show, but his commitment is, I want to do the best I can do, and I want people to be able to count on. If that was endemic in all our institutions, and certainly in our dealerships, I think reputation management would be a lot easier. But I just think we have breakdowns in communication, through the different links. It matters. It doesn't matter. Did you pick up the phone? Did you get a bot? And, Wendy's the AI queen, the BDC queen. She'll tell you that millions of times she has a great idea and floats it through one channel of the dealership to the other, and it hits a wall. Right, Wendy? Yeah. I remember the first time somebody complained to me, one of my salesmen, to my BDC people. I had just started, and said, why the hell did they bring that guy in? Well, I TO'd the deal and we made $5,000. It wasn't real complicated. So I think it's just like everything else in life. It's a buy-in. It's agreeing that everybody's rowing in the same direction. And I think without that, Peter, you're always going to have those boondoggles where half the people think we're doing this and half we think we're doing that. You know what? Make it a third. A third think we're doing it, a third think we're not, and a third could care less.
Well, let me just add one thing to what you just said. Yes, I went down. I was there on Monday. I watched you interview all those people. I listened to how you spoke to them. I understood that your reputation was exactly what it was for engaging. Then I went to the dealer, went to the conference. At the conference, I met the dealer that you were actually at, and I said I would come back and show their social media team a couple of things. And I said I'll be there in the morning before I drive back to Canada. I had to drive 2 hours out of my way, and then 2 hours more out of my way to go back home. But because my reputation means everything to me, I did it, and I was there, and I got it accomplished. While I did, I got to see your show or your training session, which is phenomenal. So that's what reputation is all about. It's also part of your integrity. Now, I know for a fact, Michael, who usually goes last on all our shows, has a few words about reputation management and reputation marketing to talk about tonight. So go ahead, Michael. How about you got to hit the mute button there, pal.
I can't believe you traveled. Yeah, I can't believe you traveled so far so fast. By the way, I did check out
Michael.
Yeah.
Michael, he traveled so fast to get away from me. That's the tail end of that story.
I figured that. He was the only one with a cell phone in front of him in your class, because I caught that picture of Rhonda taking the picture of your back and you're facing Peter. I'm like, wait a minute, he's on the phone with me. How the hell did he get this picture? What am I looking at here? So kudos to you, Peter. I mean, wow. So reputation management, for years, That's been the key word since 2010. I got in 2015 when they were transitioning to reputation marketing. Reputation management is the management of your 5-star reviews. Nowadays, most companies only have 4 directories they're on. The big ones, Facebook, Google. Yelp is getting their nose in there. And you don't have to pay them, but when you get around to saying, hey guys, we want to address the negative and positive reviews and they say thank you, they go, no, you got to pay. So they're the only ones that you have to pay to play. But there's other ones that are being ignored. There's 43 in all, which includes super pages, insider pages, YP, local.com, Hot Frog, Yahoo, Deno's, City Watch, Judy's Book, and on and on. But the bottom line is those are all free for you to put your username, which is usually your email, and a password, and you're in. So people, that's not the masses, but locally, that they can find you. And if you're a local company, which car dealers are, they ought to be using this free research. That's management. The marketing comes from using your 5-star reviews and marketing those 5-star reviews to get more customers. How do you do that? Well, you can first thank the people that are leaving you a 5-star review. There's, what is it? We thank you very much for bringing up Widewell. There was 3710 of car dealerships that don't do nothing. And when I'm a customer looking you up, I just want to see you say thank you to those people that took the time, energy, and effort to write you a nice review. It's not that you're responding for those people that wrote you a nice review. You're writing it for the thousands of people that are reading those reviews and seeing your response. And that's being missed.
Hey, Michael.
Also,
Mike, just to show you how true what you're saying is, the impeccable logic, Joe Jackson joined the call. Joe Jackson very rarely puts a post out where he talks about the fact that he's the best advertising guy out there, which he is. All of Joe Jackson's posts are about other people. This guy was on David Long. This guy took a kitten out of a tree. So what happens is everybody has such a positive feeling about him. So there's the ultimate example of being selfless. And I don't think he does it to get acclimate, but it makes people look at him because it's not, here's what I want. It's like, here's what I did for you. And I never heard him do a quid pro quo. It's never, hey, I did this for you. What are you going to do for me? So I think your logic is impeccable, and Joe Jackson's living proof of that.
absolutely.
Joe, is that worth the $20 you Venmo'd me?
Yes, thanks. There'll be a little extra in the envelope this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Wait.
We
We just got ethnic. The Italian guy just told the Jewish guy there'll be some extra money in the envelope. Perfect. Go ahead.
It's not how good you say you are. It's how good others say you are. That's what's important. That's what needs to be marketed. And that's what's leaving 25 to 35% revenue on the table.
Okay.
It's a shame, but it's true. And you know what? My numbers don't matter. When somebody is in the market to buy a car for any market, 5-10% plus or minus, but I've got 25% kicking tires that don't use the internet at all. 25% that go to third party that want to find their car that's their car, that they're looking for mileage and, you know, how old is it? 25% go directly to the website of their chosen rooftop, and 25% of them go on to Google, and what they're looking for is a reputable company to do business with. So again, plus or minus 5-10%, whatever, but that's a hell of a lot of money to be left on the table. And that's, I'm Mike, and I'm dropping my mic.
Hey,
You know-
hey, Peter, how about if we get Tony in, because sometimes he has to
Yep.
pop out in the middle, and then our buddy Doug Reeves is on. Always love his input on things like this.
Absolutely.
Mike, what you said, reminds me in the social media world, and we talk about success and it's who you know. I think you flip it, and it's who thinks they know you that leads to success. And social media is one of those things, and reviews are one of those things where if they think they know you based upon your reviews, they think they know you based upon your presence on social media, then you've got to live up to it. And so you're setting the standard for the reviews. You're setting the standard for who wants to do business with you. And you don't need to know them, but they need to know that they know you. They know who you are as a business. So I think that's a critical part of reviews. And then secondly, I was going to ask the question, because I am not a review reputation expert, although I just partnered with somebody because everybody says you got to water down those 1 stars. My question to you or to the group is Dealer Rater. What are the opinions on that platform? It's a pay-to-play platform. I've never been a big fan of it because it's a pay-to-play, and it feels like it's a rigged game. But I'd love to hear some thoughts on that platform.
I'll agree 100% with you, Tony. 100%. Throw it in the garbage. But the challenge with that is, how do you discuss it with the customer afterwards? It's
right.
That's where the challenge is. I personally have no weight in dealer rater, but the customers do, and that's the challenge.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thoughts?
I'm not a fan.
My
Not a
research has
fan.
been just Google, right? So I'm a Google guy. So I
Okay.
don't go. I lump all the third parties into one bucket, and they're looking for the car of their dreams or something to bang around in. That's where the 25% come, and another 25% are on Google. Google's the king.
And we agree that
Yeah.
perception is reality. Doug Reeves, what do you think?
Well, lots of thoughts. One, Dealer Rater is a joke in my mind. If you go Dealer Rater and put in Hyundai dealer and put in a state, and they list them in order, top to bottom, it makes no sense when you start looking at the ratings. You'll see a store that has a 3.5, and then a store below it that has a 4.5, and you're going, how is 3.5 higher than 4.5? So I think Dealer Rater's is a kind of a joke. My thought is there's two metrics that a dealer needs to look at in order to determine what the reputation's like, and Peter touched on them. One is turnover. If the store has a lot of turnover, you probably have a pretty crappy reputation because you're not doing anything to enhance the employee experience. You're not developing people. And the second is simply repeat and referral. If you've got a ton of it, you're doing well. If you don't, you're probably not. And I think, and Larry, you touched on this earlier, and I heard this on another call today with the Olympics here. It's amazing that these Olympians put all this time into coaching and training for what amounts to one day of glory, or in their minds, failure if they don't medal. But dealers don't put any time into training and coaching their people. And you wonder why their reputations are suffering, because they're just not developing the people. The culture isn't there. My feeling is, and this is, if I was paying money, I'd be throwing money in the bucket, but, quit doing a shitty job and start doing business the right way. I mean, these dealerships are allowing crap to go on that is just tarnishing the reputation. And in their mind, I'm sure almost all of them could sit there and say, this is what I would love to see, but they don't do it. And, it's like you said, Larry, it's where's the focus from the top down? That's the
Doug,
only way you're going to be able to do this.
It's also a fixed focus.
Yes, it can't be sporadic at best.
Right. Listen, I'm the least technical guy on every one of our shows. It's just not in me. Okay. You want a guy to tell jokes, get people to like them, energy. I think I'm your guy. Technical, it's embarrassing how bad I am. Why do wherever I go in the country and in Canada, do I draw a crowd? Peter saw it, some of the best recruits you ever saw, because we jump on it so fast. People think there's spyware on the phone. They hit the button, the next thing you know, they're called. Where the other 9 morons they apply to, by the time they contact them, if they ever do, we've already got them hired and onboarded. My target is simple. I want to kick butt every day. I don't want to be embarrassed to the dealership by not bringing anybody in. I want to be successful. I want to find the right people. So for me, it's easy. We got to get on these leads. We got to advertise the right way. We got to monitor it, and that makes it easy. But but just hold the thought, Jeff. With the Olympics, I want the gold, and this is my thing, and I have to lose this much weight and gain this much muscle and push myself. So it actually, Jeff, when you've worked on massive projects, when you know exactly what you have to do, you'll say, Larry, I got to do this, this, and this. You put me with the guy, I won't mention his name. How quick did we laser him up and get 4 or 5 of his clients straight out? It was a laser focus. Now, if you called me and you called me a week later and say, how you doing with so-and-so? And I said, oh, I'll get to him. You'd hang up and go to hell with Larry Feldman. But by the next day, you and I had 92 things going. So I think, Doug, the key is a locked in focus. If you ask most dealers, most GMs, most salespeople, it's like the old thing with what is the used car worth? And you ask 10 people, including managers, and you get 10 different answers. If everybody's on the same page, act like every customer costs you $450 instead of the dealer. Treat them like you'll never have another customer. Listen, build rapport, and build a relationship, which will lead to money. It's easy. But man, Russell's been in and out 42 million years. He knows what I'm saying.
I'll share one last thought. So we're fortunate to be partnering with Amazon, and talk about a company that seems to be laser focused on the customer. I mean, in the early days, there was always an empty chair, and that was to focus on the customer. That's what it's all about. As we talk to dealers about the opportunity of partnering with Amazon, every dealer says, yeah, this is amazing because it's Amazon. They put the customer first, and they've got a reputation for it, and they will do nothing to tarnish that. And I think that's a pretty good example of the way dealerships should look at it.
Yep. Well, why wouldn't you look at something, Doug, that's wildly successful and not emulate it?
Well, and I won't answer for Doug. I'll give him a second to answer that.
No, he didn't have to answer. That was a moot
You
point.
guys from Colorado.
That was a rhetorical question with which the answer was quite obvious.
Yeah.
I don't think they know how to get started, number one. They don't know the impact. And, while Mike's talking, and Mike and I have talked extensively about this, I see 2 points of reputation management. There's the pre-contact, where they're doing their research, and they're saying, wow, these guys are only 2.5 stars. You're not even getting that call.
Right.
You're not seeing that guy. You're not getting an opportunity to screw up. Right. And then there's the post communication. Okay. How did my service appointment go? Or my sales? Do you have other people that are in the market? We're asking for that. They're scared to ask that because there's bad coffee in the waiting room. Our CSI got tanked, and CSI has just become this water balloon that you squeeze and then it comes out somewhere else. Right. And nobody can get a grip on it. But I think the dealers just think this is organically going to take care of itself, and
or they're looking for technology to do it.
And that's the thing, but it doesn't take as much technology as it does attention.
Okay.
Right.
So on that note,
let me just make one more point, Peter, if I could. So the biggest thing, even more than the star ratings, or Mike, you can rate those for me, but as important as your star ratings, we know if we see 5 stars, well, that's a bunch of crap, right? Nobody's got that. Show me 4.5, you're in the game. But if I'm going to go look, and I do the same thing and bringing up Amazon, when I'm researching something, I'm going to the number 1 stars. I want to see what the problem was with this item I'm looking at, right? And if it's like, oh, came in a busted box. Well, that's not Amazon's fault. That's not the part's fault, you know, or maybe Amazon's fault. But to that point, it's how you deal with when you did fumble the ball at the dealership,
Exactly.
how you addressed it. And Mike, I don't remember who we were talking about one of my clients who's in the aftermarket wheel and tire and auto repair. And she says, well, you know, I answer them all like once a month. Hello, you know, that's worse.
So
That's worse.
Or a
So-
copy
hey,
and
Peter,
paste,
hold
a
on.
copy
Let's
and
jump-
paste kind of method.
Hey,
No.
Mike, let's jump to Russell and Wendy. And I don't like Russell to ever feel left out because we're so close. Since I asked a rhetorical question of Doug, let me ask one of Russell. Russell, you're on the pier. There's only one life preserver. Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris are drowning. Where would you have lunch?
Somewhere else.
Perfect. Okay, now you can say something pithy and then we'll jump to Wendy. I just had to get one shot in there.
You know, I was just listening, talked about what comes to mind is that people have a level of expectation where the reference point comes from. It's different for different people, but when you meet their expectation, they're likely not to review you or, you know, go out of their way when you exceed someone's expectation. They'll go out of their way to review you or refer you, etc. And some of them, I mean, that's just it's exceeding their expectations, and it's unfortunate. Asking for them if you met their expectations, you know, to leave you a review or send them something to remind them. Most of them, you know, will probably even do that. But the ones where you exceed their expectations, I'm just my experience. I go out of my way. I'll take an extra step and I'll go and I'll review them. And not only just a review, but I'll make comments in that review.
So I'll extrapolate on that there, Russell. In majority of my career, which spans over 4 decades, I was always in the premium business. I left long before cell phones were ever invented. I had my home number on my business card. And I said to people, you call me at any time, day or night, if you have a challenge with your vehicle. I might not be able to come out and fix it, but at least I know more about it to get you to the right help. And you're not calling me at 3 a.m. because you're wanting to preset your radio. I know that. So that was a level of exceeding expectations, and that was a level of growing my reputation, and that was a level of increasing my circle of influence.
All right. I think that, and going back to the earlier statement, and I'll be done, meeting their expectations is really critical. Exceeding them would be would be what you would certainly aim for. Okay. You can only control the controllables. The challenge is that when they have a poor experience, unfortunately, they'll go out of their way to tell more people about that than the other two. So it is critical to really stop that.
Yeah. So
But wait, Peter, isn't it kind of strange? I think everybody on this show feels like I feel. I don't think it's that hard to exceed expectations. In a world where everybody's a little cranky and a little ill-mannered, just doing the basic things, returning calls, reaching out. Hey, just wanted to make sure you're okay. I just don't think it's that hard to exceed expectations when the standard and the bars have been set so low. You guys all agree?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, this industry has just set itself up with the bar at about a foot off the ground. So exceeding expectations shouldn't be that hard to do.
So as I was continuing on what I was about to say, I always set an expectation at an 8 and deliver a 9 or a 10 in experience. That was always the way. Now, reverse that. I rarely got any comments or letters or anything like that sent to me because that's what my customers expected. However, if there was a challenge, oh man, the dam broke and the water came flowing in and everything else. And it's always noted, and Jason will tell that Jason's on the call, and Jason will confirm it with this. If you screw up, those people will tell 8 people. If you do an
Is that all?
incredible job, those people will tell 2 people on average. That's 20% return versus a 80% return.
But wait a minute, Peter. Let's be realistic with the math. Then let's jump to Wendy. She's been very patient.
Hey,
It's
guys,
always-
I apologize, and I'm putting in the chat. My wife just waved me down, and she needs something. So I'm going to I'm going to mute out and video out and see what's going on here. Okay. Sorry.
You got it. The deal is, though, guys and ladies, it's always been this way. It's not like this was a recent phenomenon. It was always that if you had a happy customer and they were kind of happy, okay. But a miserable guy would tell 92 people at the barbershop or whatever the form of communication was. So those parameters really haven't changed. It's just easier to communicate to a larger group of people because of the web. But it's always been that way. That's why the successful salespeople always seem to have a lot of delighted customers and people that are loyal. Jason, this sounds like I'm making this crap up, but Rhonda's on the call. Rhonda and I drove up to Connecticut to film videos. And I'm just about to jump onto a video, Larry talk, and I get a call. I says, I got to take this. Rhonda gave me like the fisheye. What are you doing? It was a customer I sold 20 years ago that found my cell number again and wanted to talk. They want to buy anything, just want. Well, that's not just me. That's you. That's Peter. That's Russell. That's certainly Jeff Scherer and Mike Larkin and Wendy and Doug. So it's always been that the game hasn't changed. We've got to exceed expectations. And when we do see a problem, we head it off. A lot of these problems could be headed off if we were on top of it and communicated. Instead, we let them fester and then it becomes a forest fire. When, what do you think?
I think that's the perfect segue with the forest fire to Joe Jackson. Did he speak yet?
Joe, I'm always trying to drum you up some business, okay? Next time wear your Smokey the Bear hat. We can really make this work perfect.
So has he gone? Should I go ahead? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. No, I was just, I think you guys are right on. That's I would always say back in the day, I used to do some reputation management with the Daily News, and it was just you'll tell a couple of people you have a good time, and if you have a bad experience, you'll tell anybody who'll listen. So, but I think one of the key things about handling the reputation and when you get that bad review is the person who, like, you got to be careful with who's answering the reviews, because if you have a person who's not detached from it, then it could just go sideways, that they could start putting up crazy responses and things that and make a bad situation even worse. But yeah, Wendy, go ahead. But thanks for the segue. I appreciate it.
Okay, so first of all, Doug, great share there on the Amazon. I have lunch with a guy I met from the Amazon side from Dealer eProcess, Ken, tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to learning about that. And I don't remember who. And then I don't remember. Somebody else mentioned something that was really helpful too. But let me just silence my phone.
You're muted. Can't hear you. Wendy, can't hear you.
She's not muted, but we can hear her.
Wendy.
She can't hear
Peter,
us.
is it a coincidence that as soon as Fred showed up, Wendy was muted? I suspect a conspiracy here.
Yeah, your tinfoil hat wearer.
Yeah.
Wendy. Wendy.
Hey, we've really gotten high tech with this show now, haven't we, Jason?
Yeah.
She should put it in.
Where's my tin can with string?
I'll squeeze something in while Wendy's getting re-racked there.
Please.
What's the worst thing in the food business? It's the customer that says, ah, and you never hear from them one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right? They just go away. But dealers are afraid to hear how much customers are upset.
Mhm.
They know it's out there, and nobody wants to hear that. But you know what? Professional salespeople, man, I'm sure glad you told me that. And I'm sure everybody in this room, like me, if you go into a restaurant and the bathroom's dirty or something, I'll go over to the manager, or if, God forbid the staff, is having an attitude problem or something, I would want to know that as a boss, so I think everybody here would agree on that. But I think, car dealers would rather go la, 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 la. And
So I'm
do what you
just
do.
going to jump in on one thing here before Wendy gets back on. Michael and I were talking about the wide whale index, and here's a wild number for you: 427 dealerships in the United States have over 50% negative reviews on Google. Over 50% of their reviews are negative. 427. And if you look at them, they're not the dealers that you would actually think that they might be. It's incredible. Wendy, are you back yet?
You didn't hear her.
Peter.
She was back.
Here I am.
Oh, okay.
Hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So sorry. Blame it on the phone. I got too damn many devices. Sorry, Rhonda. And I keep switching to my 5 different audio sources I have here because I spend too many hours at my computer. My batteries die and I have to keep switching them up every day. So BDC, right? The conversion tool. The marketing brings it to the website. BDC converts it. BDC is also your retention tool, ladies and gents. And you just need to, the dealers just need to recognize it. We are the peacekeepers. We are the CRM police. We are the relationship establishers. We are the retention people. So 3 cases, 3 different clients. One is an e-commerce business that we serve, and the other 2 are automotive. Last 72 hours. We're having a call. First of all, they're featuring a product that is less expensive. It's a better price point, but they're known to break because people use them too much instead of once in a while. It's a wireless thing, whatever the product is. And so they tell us, as their backup call center, make sure you tell people, that it's like an electric light bulb or something like that, so they know they should not use it for an extended period of time or it's going to fall apart and you're going to have a customer service issue. Well, here's a novel idea. Why don't you say that in your marketing? So you're not setting people up for failure and sell 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 and trying to move merchandise, whether it's metal or whatever it is, and not worry about the repercussions when this stuff starts breaking because you want to grab the money or you want to grab the customers and you're giving shit service because you're selling them something that's not even if it's a vehicle, whatever it is. So, all right, that's one. Then I have one that the culture is such. Now, everybody knows when you open a BDC, they go from blaming the BDC, like when I go in somewhere, because my jam is strategy, right? And I don't even talk to the BDMs anymore. I talk to the DPs because you got to have the buy-in from the top down and you got to know what the pain point, you have to offer a solution. But what happens is they just put band-aids on the solution when they're not performing in the dealership. And the focus goes from BDC is not setting appointments because then they find out how to set the appointments by engaging more because they learn how to engage and they drive more traffic. And then sales is like, oh, they're setting fake appointments. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. Or they're deleting BDC visits because they need to get their quota because their GM's yelling at them, set more appointments. And or they're brooming people off the lot. And we find out the next day for a missed appointment where we say, and what I do is I go in day one assuming, and I go, hey, it's Wendy at ABC4, just calling to see how your visit was yesterday. And more importantly, what did you drive home in? Give me a call. I really want to know. And then they either A, say, well, I was there and rah, 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 because they delete the showroom visits if they can't close them on the sale many times. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. So then, or they say, oh, I was there and blah, blah, blah. then we know they were there and they broomed them off the lot by pre-qualifying them or whatever. So the problem is the culture is broken. Now you've got animosity and a great culture between the sales department and the BDC. And then the sales department or whatever department tries to catch up because we're yelling at our people more for what they're doing wrong internally than what we're doing right, and giving them, blessings and lessons. You didn't, okay, so, even when you do call review, don't yell at your people. No, you shouldn't have said that. You should have said that. At first, well, you lead in with a positive. Human nature, if you want people to get better, praise them, celebrate the small wins, and then give them constructive criticism, right? So, but we're not doing that. So when we demand out of whichever department, let's call it sales, to still keep up, instead of serving and closing the leads when they come into the store and offering a nice experience for the customer, they're fudging data in the CRM to make it look like they're making their calls, but they're not, or they're calling from their phones, which is not compliant, calling and texting. And then they make the manual fake dials in the CRM, but the telephony system doesn't have the same call volume. So we've got all these problems. So what we need is strategy, first of all. And then the third instance is, we have a fabulous account. Once we found out, like 6 months in, no one told us on the service end we had a bad rep about 6 months ago with an old service manager or whatever. Okay, well then let's lead in with that, because all we're getting is hangups as soon as they hear the dealership name. So what we need to do is lead in with, hey, we're under new management. We've got a brand new remodeled facility. We want you to come in and experience the difference, right? You got to give the sizzle to get the engagement, or you're going to get hangups, or you're going to flood them with communication, call, text, and email, not consistent, not relevant. So you need to start at the top. You need to look at what you got. You need to look at your data. Then you need to strategize, but you need to strategize with the DP, ladies and gents, because if he passes it down to the GM, who passes it down to the GSM, who passes it down to the BDC manager. Really, dude? Really?
Don't tell me, Wendy, that in the middle of that dialogue, you got a bad review.
We get bad verbal reviews, For me, I don't even have to look at them online. I know from the reaction I get from the humans. And then, or they get the bad reviews or the bad comments on social media and they hide them, or they don't respond.
Yep.
So it's like if you throw a rug over the rising mountain of maggots that's feeding on a piece of food you dropped on the floor and didn't sweep it away, and you throw a rug over it, guess what? It's gonna fester and it's gonna get worse. And if you're not already bad online, you're gonna be. So that's what I think. It's all about the human side, and I think we need strategy more than anything. I think we need engagement with our customers, and we're either flooding them to a point with irrelevant communication and pitch slapping. We call it that in the vendor space. Why not in the dealer space with our customers? Pitch slapping. We got this, we got that, we do this, we do that. And then they're set up for a completely different experience in store. Instead of doing that, but you lose them and they unsubscribe because you fill their feed and their emails and their text and their voicemails with irrelevant garbage that doesn't solve whatever it is their automotive need is. And that's all I got.
Jason Reed, what do you think, my buddy?
I'd like to piggyback off of Wendy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
All
please,
right.
Jason.
So one, I'm going to give some hot points that I took away from this at first. One, Larry, you're absolutely right. It does start at the top. Reputation does. Everything in the dealership starts at the top. The problem, as Jeff said, dealers want to close their ears and go la la la. It's because they don't have the stones to look in the mirror and realize how shady or crappy they're actually running their own program, their dealership. And that's the way the car business has been for, forever. That's, it's just how it's acted. Now, I believe very strongly that reputation is built upon one thing first, and that is trust. Your trust in which that customer has in you is built up by constantly keeping your promises, acting with integrity, and demonstrating your transparency with them. Now, there is a difference between demonstrating transparency and acting like you're being transparent. Demonstrating, showing them what documents they need to show, like the iPacket does and things like that. Showing those items to the customer, as far as showing what your cost is. I mean, it's okay to make a profit this day and age. I mean, if you're crying out loud, don't be afraid to tell them or say you are. Everybody else is making a profit. But trust is the ground in which reputation is built upon and grown upon. And it's something that I think a lot of dealers are expecting the reputation to bloom overnight or over a 2-week period. And what they don't realize is there's no gimmick, there's no quick fix, there's nothing that's going to make it correct itself in 2 or 3 days. Your reputation is only going to be fixed with time. With time will come your reputation, and the only way that you can get that corrected is by acting right and treating your customers and doing business the right way.
Mhm. You know, it's funny. I think what you just said is totally true. And Peter, you made a comment earlier that when you were a salesperson, you were fully available. You hardly ever got reviews. I sometimes wonder what the motivation is for these dealers. Is the motivation to get reviews, or is the motivation to do the right thing? My father always taught me that when you give a gift, you should never expect a gift in return.
Correct.
In the case of dealerships, the gift you can give is give a great experience, but don't expect a positive review. Just do the right thing. The reviews come, that's great, but at the very least, your behavior is always consistent. You're always doing the right thing, and I don't think that's the motivation often.
So, Doug, I'll jump on that one again too, because you said something earlier, and it's absolutely 100% tied into this. Is your reputation is dictated by turnover and and your return, meaning your repeat business. That defines everything, and we look at the king of reputation, Carl Sewell. He believed that every single customer was worth 30 more opportunities. So if you have that instilled in your thought process, how do we earn them? How do we earn the 30 other opportunities? Just because we converted a sale does not mean we have the right for the other 29 opportunities. We have to earn them, and that's part of the reputation. That is the trust, the integrity that we have. That is building that relationship. It's not, if you want to succeed in this business, really succeed in this business and be successful. You notice how I said successful correctly there, Joe? Frank Lopes had a problem with it today or yesterday. Anyways, the issue is we build that business by working at it, by creating that relationship, not the transaction. And that's where it becomes the most important thing. You have to have that relationship mindset. And if you don't have it, get out, because you're never going to be successful in this business. You're going to be going from dealership to dealership. Sure, you'll come in fast and flash in the first couple months, and then you'll die out like a burned up matchstick, and you will. That's a reference for you, Joe. The situation is that you have to be consistent and repeatable. David Long says it best. You have to be a CRO, a chief repeating officer. You have to do it over and over and over again. Once you find that perfection, you continue to do it with consistency.
It's like it goes back to fundamentals, basic fundamentals in sports. Phil Mickelson hits his wedge. The swings nearly the same. Or baseball player swings the bat nearly the same. Free throw shots are done the same way. You know, it's a fluid movement, and if you can track that muscle memory, you could hit the ball or hit the shot every single time the same way. And that's what we lack. And part of it, like you said, is because the turnover, as Wendy said, build the culture in the chat. But you can't build a culture if you're constantly flipping your management staff or your sales team.
Well, let's add one more segment to that, Jason. How many dealerships have coaches? We talk about coaching all the time, but how many dealerships actually have a coach in the store to work with their teams?
Technically, each manager should be a coach.
Technically, but they're not. They're managers. Because coaches lead people, managers manage results.
Correct.
So
And
your
who's
managers,
teaching the coach?
yeah, and who's teaching the coach? And it's all, and as Michael will say, the fish stinks from the head down.
Yes, it does.
Can I be Russell? Right on.
Amen. We'll put the sound bites in for Russell.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Guys, anybody have any thoughts and comments? It sounds like everybody's input is solid. Everybody got their point in. And I guess, Rhonda, it would not be a good idea to ask Dealer Rater if they want to be a sponsor of the show.
Oh
Correct.
my God, no! Please don't. No, that them or Yelp. Guy, Yelp's even worse.
Yeah, I agree.
At least you can fight Dealer Rater and make a comment back.
Yeah.
Yelp, it's on there. It's on there for life.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad when something called Dealer Rater has a bad reputation.
Only with the dealers.
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody have any final thoughts? As usual, we appreciate everybody's input. We appreciate Peter breaking some land speed records to get back so he could join us. And he's looking particularly handsome in that shirt.
Dealers just got to remember that people buy from people they like. So why don't you become somebody that people like?
Bingo.
Works for me.
So just some closing notes. Tomorrow night, we have a couple very special guests on Automotive Innovators and Disruptors as we talk about alternative ways for marketing in the automotive space. We're going to have the one and only Joe Jackson, who never speaks. So it's an audio program, so it's going to be unique. The second part of it is Michael Larkin, who always gets to speak last, but we're going to put him into the front of the line. And the other person that we're going to have is Amanda Shoemaker from Travers Auto Group in St. Louis, and she'll be joining us as well. It'll be an amazing night. I look forward to seeing you all there, and 8 o'clock Eastern on Clubhouse. And then we'll see you on Friday morning as well.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right.
I hope you guys all have a good night.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
Thank you all
Take
so
care.
much.
Take care.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye, y'all.